welcome to another special edition of Fearless Moments Michigan. We are so happy to be sitting here with Shannon Durant, all the way from Detroit, Michigan. Shannon, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
And I'm your host, Chichis Stylxz. Some of you know me as Edna Frenchwood. That is my government name. And Chichis Stylxz is my stage name, or Edna Chichinjoku, which is my maiden name. I love to share all my names because I want you to find me on all my pages and follow me, like me, message me, be like, I saw you. That'd be great for you and great for me, so we can connect. And maybe you can be on here, share your story as well. Thank you. Today we're talking to Shannon. We spent a day with Shannon getting the makeover done, some of the videos you guys have seen, and she got a chance to get a job already, a job offer with First Light Home Care. She sat down with a counselor from John Maxwell. She is like feeling it right now. So tell us, how are you feeling? What's going through? How are you feeling right now? Oh gosh, awesome. She's about to cry. Her eyes. And
I feel so happy.
Okay, that's
Tears
good.
of joy.
Tears of joy. That's great. I want to talk a little bit about her story, or maybe I just want to ask a few of the questions because we're going to keep this real brief. Tell us briefly what happened to you, why you're here.
Well, I am here because I want to empower women so that through what I went through, they may avoid having any similar situation occur in their lives, because there's something that we have, I think, people call it by many names, but some say it's intuition, some people call it the spirit, some people said I had an inkling or a feeling, a gut instinct. And I had this about a man that I had met, and he kept trying to date me, and I avoided it because I had a bad feeling about him. I kept saying, there's something wrong with this guy. And against my better judgment, even after having said that a couple times, if there's something wrong with this guy, something not right about him. And like you said, I'm from Detroit, and we do have a little bit of crime there, so you kind of have to use your instincts to survive, and I normally do that. But this time, for some reason, I felt as though I could go around him. And to cut to the point, I decided to go and visit him and hang out. And I was thinking like a girlfriend, since he and I were not dating. We never had sex, we never slept together. I never even kissed him or anything. We were friends. I thought we were friends. But in the turn of events, by me going to his house, the reason I went there is because I was just a little bit like lonely. I wanted to hang out with someone. I just thought, if it was my girlfriend and I called you, or you called me and said, I don't have any money, I said, don't worry, I'll pay for everything. Or like you have done for me today. She bought lunch because I didn't have money. That's what I was doing.
Right.
So when I get there, we's like, let's go grab some beer, get some food, go back to his house. We get there, we're having a beer, getting ready to have food, and he says, now it's time for you to get naked. And I busted out laughing because I thought it was a joke. But in the event of me laughing, he attacked me. He brutally beat me, he punched me in my face, he knocked me to the ground, he kicked me. I had contusions, bruises, and cuts. I had to run out of there without my shoes, without my cell phone, without my purse, without my wallet, without my keys. I just had to run for my life because he had picked up a hammer, and I was pretty sure he was going to use it on me. So I ran out in fear for my life because I didn't know what he was going to do to me next. And I got to my best friend's sister's house. She called the police. The police took me to the hospital. They told me I had a broken rib, broken wrist. He broke the orbital wall floor of my eye. I had multiple injuries. And, I ended up, it's difficult to shorten this story, but to get to the point, I ended up having to go to assisted living because they wouldn't let me go home from the hospital because I live alone. And my arm was in a cast, a sling, because my whole hand was up to here. They had to immobilize my whole arm because of my wrist. So I was in a cast, and my ribs were broken, so I couldn't hardly walk. Couldn't really see well. It was just difficult for me to function. So they put me in assisted living because I couldn't cook, and I didn't want to eat, so I lost a lot of weight. I was very depressed. So I ended up going to counseling against my own will. And that's part of what I wanted to say to women out there. You know, if you have a feeling, follow your heart, follow your instincts, follow your gut. If you feel like something's wrong with the guy or even another person, even if it's not so, I think it's better to err on the side of caution, because I wish that I had listened to my own instincts, because I'm still recovering from that, and that's what this journey is all about.
Yeah.
Because after I got out of the hospital, I went back to my house. He had broken in my house. My neighbor said, we thought you moved, because a truck pulled up to my house. He took all of my things, my clothing, my appliances, my furniture. I had nothing. My landlord said they couldn't find me. They thought I just moved out. And I said, why would I do that? And they said, we didn't know where you were. We didn't know what to think. So I lost everything. I had to go into a shelter, which I never lived in my whole life. I've always had my own place or lived with someone or had a better, you know. I've never been in a situation like this. So I was severely depressed, and I had to go to counseling because I needed to get myself back together. But I didn't know I needed it. I thought I could take care of it myself, you know. And in my community, there's a lot of stigmatism. You don't go to a psychiatrist, psychologist, and people say you're crazy. I'm like, I'm not crazy. I don't need anybody to talk to. But I found out that I did, and I recommend if you ever have something bad happen to you, to get counseling, or even if you suffer from depression or any type of mental troubles, because it's not weak to ask for help. I had to learn, even at this late stage in my life where I thought I knew everything, that you ask for help is being strong. I thought it was a weak thing to do, because a lot of my friends say, well, why did you tell us this happened? It's not like I want to go and post on Facebook, I got the holy hell beat out of me. I just didn't really want to talk about it to anyone. I just told my very close friends, and I didn't want to tell people because I was ashamed and embarrassed, and I kept blaming myself. And even though I know intellectually it's not my fault, I still struggle with that part of it, because normally when I get that feeling like, okay, it's time to go, living in Detroit, people say, well, you guys left the party, they got to shooting, or something may occur when you get that feeling, and that, well, I'm glad I got out of there in time. But this time, by me not listening, I blame myself a lot. And the counselors had to make me understand. I had to go to a psychotherapist, a psychologist, a psychiatrist. I have a clinical technician. You know, people that talk to you, that tell you this is not your fault. But I didn't want to go because I kept saying, I don't want to keep talking about this shit.
It's okay.
I didn't mean to
We'll cut it out. So tell me where you, what's next? Because we've heard your story, and luckily, because you spoke up then, you were able to put this man away. I'm sure some of you watched some of the reenactment shots that we just saw while she was speaking, and we are concerned about the fact that, you know, this guy went up to the 5th or 6th woman, and none of the women before had made sure he didn't do this again. You know,
the thing is, I don't know how that works, because when I was subpoenaed at the court, I didn't even know what a subpoena means. You have to come to court. At the top it says 4th of it. So I think he did time before and got out. I don't really quite understand that part, because they said I could follow him, but I didn't want to because I wasn't able to handle. I didn't even care what happened to him. I just got, because I didn't want to know if he got out, because I would be afraid, and I didn't care if he was in there because I didn't care what happened to him. I was like, that's not my concern, because people say, well, follow him so you know if he gets out or and all that. But you can find that out, but I never went that far because I never understood why they let him out. And the law says you can't bring up a person's previous history, because that has nothing to do with that case. So
some of the women, he had done the same thing. Literally, he either wasn't dating them or was trying to date them. He would go in the house, he'd beat them up, he'll take everything they owned. So by the time they got out of the ICU, they had nothing. I mean, to come home from an assault and have nothing is one thing, and then, you know, to be assaulted is one thing, and then to come home and have nothing is another. So we thank you for your courage putting him away by speaking up.
He did get 6 to 20 years for intent to do great bodily harm. They were going to give him more for intent to commit murder, but he didn't hit me with the hammer. They asked me that.
Yeah, because he was going for a hammer.
I wanted to lie. I really wanted to lie and say he did.
He was going for a hammer before she ran out.
I certainly wanted to lie and say he did, but I couldn't. My heart and this spirit in me, even though he did me wrong, I would not lie about something so serious.
All right, so the exciting part is we are going to move forward to talk about what's next. What's going on next for you?
Well, after this happened to me, I did go to Operation Able. That's a place in Detroit through Spectrum Services. They offer employment training for people that have been through hard times in their life.
Okay.
A lot of them are returning citizens. Some people have different things that they've been through. Some people have children and they need retraining. Some people are coming from other industries.
Okay.
So I got my culinary arts certification from them last year. They paid for it. It's called Operation Able.
All right.
In Hannen Center across from Wayne State University. And I received my culinary arts certification. They paid for it. I graduated at the top of my class. I was the #1 student.
Okay.
This year I'm doing an internship in culinary arts because they said if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life. Because before this, I was a caregiver, helping people, and I didn't have the strength to care for anyone else.
After that had happened to you.
Might take a break.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Just keep thinking about
It's
all
okay.
of it because it just hurt me and hurt other people.
Right.
That I couldn't take care of any longer. She's still suffering from it.
Right.
Because, she lost her Social Security benefits and she lost her, people have been taking advantage of her, stealing her TV, stealing her phone because no one's there to help her.
Right.
So I want to help people again, but I have to be strong to do that. And that's where I want to go forward because I know I have a lot of good strength and qualities in me because I just got my 501c3. I had my own business.
Right.
But I just let it all go by the wayside because I had so much inner work to do and to heal. And I'm still in that process because I can't completely talk about it without breaking down because I don't ever talk about it.
It's okay.
I just did it for you because you said I needed to.
Yeah, because you're
Because I hate talking about it. I used to get mad at them. Like, why do you guys keep wanting me to talk about this shit? I'm never going to get over it.
Because each time you share, you're releasing it. You have to let it all go.
And that's still
it's
difficult
all
to
behind you.
understand.
And I know it's 2 years
You guys
ago.
asked me about this shit one more time.
It's 2 years ago, and look at the effect it has. And it has the
because when
same
you go
effect.
to counseling, you have to tell the therapist, you have to tell the judge, you have to tell the lawyer, you have to tell the police, you have to tell the hospital security, you have to tell the social worker, you have to tell they have a person there called a patient advocate. You have to keep telling this thing over and over, and you just, it's like you can never get it behind you.
It is behind you. The more you...
And then it's in your mind, even though time is going on, what made me acknowledge I had post-traumatic, I said, are you guys following? Because they gave me a list of the symptoms, sleeplessness, bad dreams. Even now, if somebody were to drop something, I jump.
Yeah, we were in Florida, and something happened, and you jumped, and I was like, oh my God, I could tell the trauma is still, and that's the reason
you were cooking
why.
in the kitchen. I think you dropped the pan top
we're talking to Sylvia today from a John Maxwell program. Who is a counselor here in the Lansing area, who's taking out some time to join us in the studio to sit down and talk to her, because sometimes you're going to need to take that extra step. I mean, this happened 2 years ago, but she's still trying to recover from trusting people, from being around people, from not having that shockwave of something happening, and immediately you react. There's that fear of not even being able to open up to people, be alone with people, go places. You're always watching your back. Trauma is real, and so we advise you to get help, and there's a number at the bottom of the screen. You'll get Sylvia's number. You'll be able to contact her and reach out to her if you need any help from me. If you have a similar story today and you need someone to talk to, she's in the Lansing area, and she can help guide you and lead you in the right direction, getting to talk about and to share some of your story and open your heart up to counseling so that you can get help from the trauma. Next,
Chichi, let me interject this. That is why I had the courage, because I was so afraid I couldn't go out. I wanted him caught because I'm thinking if he's still out here, I can't be out here and function because I was afraid to leave my home. I was afraid to just do daily tasks, going to the grocery store. I'd be looking around the store. Is he in the next aisle? Or if I get on the bus, I'm looking on the bus before I get on because I don't know if he's sitting in the back, or I'm walking down the street or going to the park. What if he's at that park? I couldn't even live because I was so crippled by fear. So I was so happy I got him put away, and he can never do this to another woman
again. So we'll be right back after these messages. welcome back. Thank you so much to our sponsors and those who have supported us in this journey of the fearless moments in Michigan.
Keep your mind in the right direction and you'll do well.
I like what you taught me when we were having our session earlier, is that door is closed and new doors are opening, and I'm going through them full speed.
Yes, amen. That's great. Thanks again.
Hallelujah.
All right. Okay.